Hello. The purpose of this short tutorial is to help you, the educational advisor or the advising faculty member, to assist students in the completion of their educational plan. The educational plan really consists of 4 phases. The first phase is preferably done by the student when he or she creates their educational plan. The next 3 phases are really up to you, the educational advisor or the advising faculty member, to review, approve, and submit the educational plan. So I'm going to focus on phase 2, 3, and 4 of the educational plan process. And we're going to be using a particularly useful tool developed by the IT department. One of the Olympic College graduates has developed this web-based tool called ARM, Advising Relation Management. And the tool is accessed from the Olympic College website. We have other videos that show how to go through phase 1, but this one will focus mainly on phase 2, 3, and 4. It all starts at Olympic College's website, so log into a computer, bring up your favorite internet browser, and then type in www.olympic.edu. That should bring you to the screen that you see before you now. On this screen, you can use the search block in the upper right-hand corner and type in ARM, or you can use the pull-down menu that says Staff and Faculty, and you can click on ARM there. Either way, once you get to the Advising Relation Management login page, type in your SSID, and then tab or click in the PIN dialog box and type in your global PIN, and then select Login. At this point, it kind of makes a difference as to whose educational plan you'll be reviewing. If the student whose educational plan you will be reviewing has officially designated you as their advisor, then you can simply click on My Students, and a list of all your advisees will appear, and you don't have to know ahead of time what that student's SSID is. If you are not officially designated as a student's advisor, then the student should have communicated with you what their student ID is. In that case, you can click on Student Lookup. You can type in any student's ID, and if their educational plan exists, it will come up. So you don't officially have to be a student's advisor to take the educational plan through its last 3 phases, phase 2, 3, and 4. In this case, I'm going to click on My Students, and I see a list of all my advisees. And all of my advisees have educational plans in some phase or another. If you look under plan status, you can see some plans are in phase 4. That's the final phase where the plan has been created. Phase 1, 2, it has been reviewed. 3, it has been approved. And 4, it has been submitted. Here's a plan in phase 3. It just requires submission. And here's a plan in phase 2 for Mickey Mouse, which is just simply created and reviewed, but not approved and submitted. If you're working with a student on an educational plan, and he or she is not your advisee, and you've simply typed in their student ID, you'll just see that student, and you'll go ahead and you'll click on Review to review their plan. Now, students can have more than one plan. If they have more than one plan, make sure the student has communicated with you which plan they want you to review and potentially approve and submit. This student only has a single ed plan. It's called the Business Management ATA Evening Student Ed Plan, and I'm going to click on View. Now, in this ed plan, it's up to you as the educational advisor or the advising faculty member to use your expertise to make sure that this is a viable ed plan. Things that you might want to consider include, are there classes here listed in a quarter that you know they'll never be taught? That's not a viable ed plan. Are there classes that have prerequisites, and do the prerequisites appear on the ed plan, or have they been met some other way, such as transfer in, or a substitution, or an exemption is being made for that prerequisite, in which case all that information should appear here underneath in notes. Or does that prerequisite appear in a quarter before it's needed? Additionally, all the classes that are listed, do they meet 100% of the requirements for the completion of that certificate of recognition certificate of proficiency, or that degree. That's up to you to make sure that all those requirements have been met. If you see some discrepancies in the educational plan, you can go up here on the left and click on Edit Plan. When you click on Edit Plan, you come here down to Department, and if you see a class that needs to be added, you can select the department, such as Mathematics. That'll provide a list of all the courses in that discipline. The academic discipline of mathematics has a lot of courses. And if you decide that maybe due to an AccuPlacer or a Compass test or an asset test that a student needs to meet a requirement that's been recommended on that placement exam, you can take that class and you can drag it over to the appropriate quarter. You might have to, of course, make some other adjustments to some of the other classes, move things around a little bit, but you can then come down here where it says Notes, and you can add a note with a particular date. And you might even want to add your initials to indicate, because students can add notes here. And then you could say what change you made and why you made it. So you might want to indicate that you added Math 090 to meet with a placement test recommendation. And when you're done making your changes, and if you, by the way, if you want to get rid of a course, it doesn't matter what department or what course list is listed here. If you want to get rid of a course, you just simply drag it over to the left, independent of what department or course list is there, and that can get rid of that course. When you're done making your changes, then go ahead and click on Save Changes. And that particular educational plan has now been updated, and you've annotated at the bottom when the change was made, who made the change, and why the change was made. Both you and students should keep a generous amount of notes down here explaining what the student's educational goals are, what your recommendations are, why you made those recommendations, and anything that can impact the creation or the maintenance of the educational plan. There's no limit to the amount of notes or the number of notes or who can make notes. You and the student can certainly keep track of the different edits that are being done to this educational plan. When you're all done, once the educational plan appears to be viable to you, you've now reviewed it and you wish to approve it and submit it, you can do that by coming up here to the top and you can approve the plan. And after that, as a courtesy to the student, I would say go ahead and also email the plan to the student by typing in his or her email address here. Optionally, if this student hasn't officially designated you as their advisor, you might want to email a copy of this plan to yourself so that you can keep track of who your unofficial advisees are. It's not really necessary to email the plan to yourself if the student has designated you as their official advisee, because you could always come back here to the ARM main menu and just click on My Students, and you will see all of the advisees that are officially designated as yours and the state of their educational plan. And you don't need their student ID to do that. You just simply look them up in the list and click on View. So that allows you to manage your list of advisees, to be aware of which phase of maintenance their particular educational plan is in. And only plans that have gone through Phase 4 will meet the enrollment requirements of having an ed plan on file, and thereby avoiding the block to enrollment that will exist after the calendar year 2012. So starting in winter quarter 2013, all students need to have an educational plan on file to exceed the 45 credit limit and also to avoid a block in enrollment.